Hi, it's Barry Neale here. In this video, I want to cover a really cool hypnosis technique that's been around for quite a long while and comes originally from the late, great Jerry Kein. Many people who know Jerry know that one of the things he was famous for is regression to cause. But he also did this other technique, an emotional clearing technique called the grey room. And this to me is a really useful technique that you can use for a variety of clients. You know, if you've got clients who are coming in with depression or anxiety, fears or emotions, you know, self-esteem issues, this is a really good emotional clearing technique or emotional detoxing technique that you can use to really help create a profound change in your clients. And it's called the grey room. And the idea behind the grey room is it's supposed to represent the inside of your mind, the inside of the unconscious or the subconscious mind, depending on what you want to refer to. So the idea is that it's to have them imagine going in their mind. So it's called the grey room. I say it comes from the work of Jerry Kein, who to me is one of the real greats in the field of hypnosis. So step one, well actually before step one, you hypnotize your client. Right? Hypnotize your client in whichever way you want to do that. The key is what you want to start doing is to stimulate their imagination. Remember, hypnosis isn't a passive process. This is an active process. So you want to create visualization where they are starting to use their mind and start to picture, imagine, or think about what it is you're suggesting to them. So we can use various different techniques to start stimulating their imagination. You can use all sorts of deepening type techniques. The key is you want to get them to start using their imagination. For some people, you might have them imagine them floating in space with all stars around, twinkling and things like that. And then they see a star off into the distance, which seems to be really calling to them. Have them imagine floating into that. And as they go into that, suddenly they become aware that they're in this grey room. Doesn't matter how you do it. The key is have them imagine that they're in a grey room. And as they imagine going in there, they notice that the walls are grey. It's got a domed ceiling. And they begin to realise that what they're in is their own unconscious or subconscious mind, that they imagine themselves inside their unconscious or subconscious mind. Then as they begin to look around, they notice on the walls what appear to be pieces of paper. And there's red pieces of paper and white pieces of paper. And they could be post-it notes. Some people have them, imagine them as tiles. Doesn't really matter. The idea is that there's two different colours. One's red, one's white. It really doesn't matter even what the colours are, the fact that there's just two different types. You could, if you wanted to, have them imagine what would be the colour of something that's negative, what could be the colour of something that's positive. But if you just stick to red and white, it's really simple. Don't complicate things. So imagine, notice that there are on the walls, stuck onto all the walls, are pieces of red and white paper, kind of like post-it notes. Then have them move closer and examine the paper. And as they examine it, they realise that what are on the red pieces of paper are all the negative thoughts, emotions, energies that they've held on to ever since they were a child. All these things that have built up over the years. And these things could be anger, they could be frustration, it could be remorse, could be guilt, could be negative thoughts, negative self-images, all the negative things that they've said to themselves, all the negative suggestions that other people have given them all over the years are all stored on these red pieces of paper that are stuck on the walls. So that's step 3, is to have them imagine that. And by doing that, we want to start associating them to those particular types of feelings. So then step four is to have them begin to realize that they can pull these red pieces of paper off the wall. And in the center of the room, there is either a hole in the center of the room or a fire in the center of the room. And if they were to take all these red pieces of paper and throw them on the fire or throw them down the hole, they would disappear into nothing. So we then have them think and realize that if they take, so maybe 4 or 5 trips, if they were to take all those pieces of paper and gather them all up in their hands and crumple them up, screw them up in their hands, and then go over to the fire or go over to the hole and dump them down, within 4 or 5 trips, they could rid those walls of all those red pieces of paper, all those negative thoughts and images from the past that they've been holding on to since a little child. With just 4 or 5 trips, they can rip them all off, screw them all up, put them on the fire, put them down the hole, and as they do that, they will feel a great sense of relief from having done that. So they've got 4 or 5 trips to do that. So then you go, in a moment I'm going to count from 3 down to 1, and as I do, what I want you to do, when you reach the count of 1, I want you to stop pulling all those red pieces of paper off the walls, and every single one, when you pull it off and throw it into that fire, you'll feel a sense of relief as you let go of all that negative stuff. As it goes down that hole or bursts into flames, they will feel the release of that stuff being let go. 1, 2, 3. So 3, 2, 1. Whichever way you want to do it, doesn't make any difference. But then they're to do that, and when they finished, when they've really got rid of all those red pieces of paper, to nod their head or to lift one of their fingers up. So 1, 2, 3, ready, go. And then you just sit there and let them do that. Let them do that in their imagination, so that they then are actively doing this. It's an active process. Remember, hypnosis should be active, not passive. So then when they nod their head or raise their finger, hopefully they should be done. But kind of test it and say, like, make sure, check around that room, make sure there's none left. Have a look. Sometimes some of those pieces of red piece of paper might be hiding under one of those white pieces. Have a good look round. Really check. If you're absolutely sure, nod your head. So we get them to do that. Great. So then, in the traditional way of doing it, in Jerry's work, is that the white pieces of paper are all the positive things, all the positive characteristics. You know, that they're a good person, they're an honest person, they're a kind person. And these white pieces of paper now begin to expand. And fill up the gaps where the red pieces were. And they fill up the gap. And as they do, they start to feel better about themselves. They feel good. They feel a release of energy. They feel so much lighter. They feel so much freer. And it feels fantastic. Now, that is the steps of the original Jerry Kein method. That you basically use some visualization, some imagination, to have them imagine themselves in this grey room with grey walls and a dome ceiling. Then to notice there are pieces of paper, red and white, on the walls. They move closer, they examine the pieces of paper, realise that what's written on the red pieces of paper, all the negative stuff in their life, all the negative emotions, all the negative thoughts, all the negative suggestions that people have given to them, that they are then to realise that they can pull all this stuff off, crumple it all up, and in 4 to 5 trips they can throw it down the hole, it disappears into nothingness. They can throw them onto the fire and it bursts into flames, never to be felt again. Then you count from 1 to 3, have them do that. When they've done that, have them nod their head, raise one of their fingers, and then have them notice all the white pieces of paper now begin to expand, all the good things. And you can say, you are a good person, aren't you? Yes. You're an honest person. Yes. And really get them associated into it. Now, we can make this even better. Knowing what we know now, particularly with the meta pattern of NLP, of the associate them to the the problem, dissociate them from the problem, associate them to resources, and associate those resources to the problem context, we can make this even better. And if we we get them more involved in the process, it becomes even better. So what we can do then is we start off the same, we have them imagine themselves in this grey room with the grey walls of the dome ceiling. And then have them notice the pieces of paper, the red and white and whatever. They move closer, they realise that all the negative stuff is written in red, and realise that they can begin to pull them off. And then what we do is we then take it up a gear, because we want to get them really involved. So we say to them, okay, here's what I want you to do now. I want you to reach up with your dominant hand, and I want you to take one of those red pieces of paper off that wall and rip it off the wall. And you take your pieces of paper, you've got an A4 pad or something like that, and at the same time as you have them lift up their hand. So you want them to actually use their actual hand and rip it off. So I say to them, okay, I want you to, in your imagination, close your eyes, with their eyes closed, have them, okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to reach up with your hand, reach up with your actual hand, and I want you to imagine taking one of those red pieces of paper off the wall and screwing it up, crumpling it up, and do it now. Ready? That's it, screw it up really tight. And now take it over to that fire. I want you to throw it onto that fire. And as you throw it onto that fire, that piece of paper just bursts into flame. Whoosh! As you do, you feel this release in your body. You let go of that stuff. You let go of all that negative stuff. Okay, and now you're going to go back to the wall and you're going to pick up another piece of that red paper. Really rip that piece of paper off. That's it, screw it up, really screw it up tight. That's it. Now take it over to that fire and throw it onto that fire. Whoosh! Feel that burst of flame as you let go of that stuff. Really let it go. That's it. Feel it leave your body. Right? And just keep doing that. Have them do it. Screwing up these pieces of paper. Ready, go. And keep going now. And now, because we've done it a few times, we've conditioned it in, say, right, I'm going to pause for a moment. I want you to carry on doing that until you've ripped every single piece of paper off and you've thrown it into that fire. Ready, go. And you watch them do this. So they're to do it with their actual hands, pulling it off. This really creates a big change because now they're actively doing it. And then when they're all done, when we've got that, then what we want to suggest is that they notice that these white pieces of paper suddenly begin to glow with the heat of the fire. They begin to glow. And this is a good feeling. And begin to feel this feeling spread out in their body, this good, wonderful feeling. Feel this good, positive, wonderful feeling spreading out in their body now as those white pieces of paper begin to spread and expand around the room. And all you can see is these wonderful white pieces of paper, saying, what a wonderful person you are. You're an honest person, you're a good person, you're worthy, all these wonderful things. And as you do, you begin to feel these feelings. You feel the worthiness. You feel the good feelings in your body. And I want you to notice, where do these good feelings start? Oh, they start in my chest. Great. Which way are they spinning? Oh, they're spinning clockwise. Great. Spin that feeling clockwise, faster and faster and faster and faster. And as you begin to feel this feeling spinning faster and faster, bathing every single cell in your body with these positive, wonderful feelings, notice you feel better and better and better. And as you feel this feeling now, feeling spinning around your body, I'd now like you to think about one of those situations where in the past you used to get those negative feelings, and try hard in vain to get some of those negative feelings back, and notice that you can't. In fact, the harder you try, the more calm and in control you become, the better you feel, because you're now in control of your own life and your own behaviors. That's it. Keep spinning that feeling faster and faster and faster. Now imagine a situation in your future which, if it would have happened in the past, you would have felt that old negative feeling. Now, try hard in vain to bring back that feeling. Is it there or has it gone? No, it's gone. Great. Every time you do this, it's going to feel stronger and stronger and stronger. And you can practice this at home. Each night before you go to bed, just imagine yourself inside your unconscious mind. And if there are any thoughts or images or negative suggestions that people said to you during the course of the day, just imagine ripping those off and throwing them into that fire and just let all that stuff go. That's right. Each and every day you're going to feel better and better and better, and negative thoughts, beliefs or influences will have no effect over you at this or any of the waking levels of consciousness, because you're a powerful, positive person now with more strengths and abilities than you've ever begun to use until now. So now what we've done is we've adapted the grey room and we've started using the meta pattern. We've associated them to all the negative stuff. We've dissociated by having them throw it into the fire and feel it go. And then we've associated them to all the positive stuff, the white stuff, and started to spin that feeling around the body. So we're associating them to the resources, and now we're going to take them to the context where they need it. So we're kind of taking Jerry's original thing, which works just really well just on its own, but if you add this, it just gives an extra impact to it. So we're adding the meta pattern of NLP to this, of associating them to the problem, dissociating them from the problem, associating to the resources, and associating those resources to the problem context. And by doing that, we get a really, really profound change. So this is a great technique. It works really, really well. And if you get the client involved, really using their imagination, being active, having them really pull these pieces of paper off and throw them into the fire. If you use the sound effects of screwing up pieces of paper and go whoosh, it really makes it that much more powerful. So have fun with this. Remember, hypnosis should not be passive. It's active. And the more you can make it active by getting them to do things of pulling those pieces of paper, taking them over to fire, whoosh, the more powerful the effect will be. And then if you take those positive feelings and attach them to the problem context, that's when you get lasting change, even after the session is over. So have fun with it. It's a great technique. I'd love to hear about your feedback. If you have any questions, by all means, let me go. Please remember to sign up. Sign up and subscribe to these videos, because I'm constantly putting more and more on there. So if you really want to learn hypnosis and learn NLP, please like and subscribe, and you get more of these for free. And it's hope to see you soon in a live training. But please like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks.